Saludos everybody, welcome back to Decent Shirt, where we play cards while we wear decent shirts. And for today's video we have a doozy. We have the sun facing off against the volcano. That's right, we're talking about our fire artifact, which we actually posted a deck profile on it the last couple of days ago, so make sure to watch that one. Up against the one, the only, the solar lion. Oh my god. The solar lion, Celestleo. Let's get on to the video. Alrighty, and for this showdown is quite an interesting one because we're going to see that both decks have a lot of healing in the deck, or at least a lot of healing potential. The Volcaries has the potential of basically reusing a lot of spirits from the underworld with its Hephaestus combination, while the solar deck tries to make really good use of the calf mounts. So we're going to see which one is ultimately able to overwhelm the other with the healing. And we can see from our opponent that he's starting first that he basically has the best starting hand. He has a Volcaries, he has a Heliolith, he's ready for action, and we're going to see him go for the designated play of Volcaries into Hephaestus, which we are going to see him enchant 3 spirits on it. That's probably the optimal way about it. Like, even if you're not too scared of Thunderstorm or a Lavalith, then probably the correct play is 3 spirits, so that way you can get 2 searches with the Hephaestus and you can still get around being able to use the Volcaries in future turns, at least if you draw into the artifacts. And we're going to see him go for the Golden Fleece. I agree with this play. He decides to go for the Golden Fleece because right now he is going first. He just wants to make sure that his engine is on board, and Golden Fleece just makes it that bit harder, right? That much harder for the opponent to actually be able to get over the opponent. So, we are going to see him pass the turn to me. He did set a card, so I am going to have to be very careful around that set because he does have basically 2 forms of protection on the Volcaries. But the Volcaries is only 4 attacks, so you're going to see me go for the Lumero, try to winnow down some of those resources, see if he has an actual set or something. We're going to see that the set that he has is actually Argo, which is as good as they get for this deck. I'm going to set 2 cards, and you're just going to try to swing all nonchalantly without really realizing that I'm going to be eating a Argo. And if you check the deck profile, then you should know that this deck only runs 1 copy of each of the artifacts that we're playing. However, we have multiple ways of recovering them, so we're going to see Argo go into play, and he's going to consider the Torch of Hestia, which wouldn't be a bad play. But I think that the best way to make use of the Argo, since he can use the spirits on the Argo according to the rulings, is that he's probably best to go for Poison Tunic. He's just like rereading, making sure. Remember that this is in many cases the first or second games that we play with these decks, at least for my friend here. So he's gonna reread to make sure that he's getting the grass correctly, but ultimately we're going to see him go for the Poison Tunic, and I agree, this is probably the best play. There's a lot of value out of it. You get rid of my Lumero, you make me lose spirits, and realistically he is in a commanding position right now because he made a simple play of me trying to use his resources, or trying to waste his resources, to me losing a lot of spirits in the conclusion of that battle. So you're gonna see me pass. We do have 2 sets, so let's see if we can really push back against whatever the opponent has. We do see that he has double Heliolith in hand. That's actually pretty crazy, and a Tsunami, which is just true. Heliolith is an interesting card right now, and we're seeing him consider playing it, even though I don't have any ELESTRALS on the board, but it just might be worth it, especially because he does have double Heliolith, so it might be worth it to go for the Heliolith just for the extra damage, and we're going to see him do exactly that. He does have a second Heliolith, he just needs another way of recovering the sun's spirits, right, the solar spirits, because he did use already 2 of them for the Golden Fleece, and we're going to see me use the shield on the Volcaries to try to get maximum amount of value out of that shield. because while I am paying 2 for a 1 cost, he does have Golden Fleece attached. So we were able to get out of the Volcaries predicament, but we still have a Heliolyth that did hit us for 2. We did draw into our Windjin, so that's gonna allow us, and you're gonna see me foretell for Gorgon's case. At this point, I haven't really seen my top deck, so I don't know what to expect, and unfortunately we do not hit the Gorgons out of it, but it does mean that we get to see what we could possibly see in the future. I'm gonna set up the board in a way that here we are seeing that I'm just showing the cards that I foretold again to the opponent. I'm thinking really hard whether I really want to see the, how do I say, the resting or the calf mill, but ultimately I decide to put the calf mill on top. I did set another card to protect the Windjin. Hopefully I'll be able to get another go at the Windjin, and that's what I'm really hoping on. So we're gonna see that the opponent draws another Argo, which is actually pretty scary currently in the position that I am in. And he's just thinking, okay, I guess the best course of action is just go for Volcaries again, add another Hephaestus, and that's keep adding a lot of value. But we're going to see that I'm going to hit that Volcaries with none other than the Gorgon's Gaze to make sure that he doesn't get more Hephaestus value out of it, no more artifacts. So if you want to use more artifacts, then he's going to have to use it from his Hephaestus. Regardless, at this point, kind of shuts down any artifact for this turn, because since it is suppressed due to the Gorgons, even if he searches an artifact, he's not going to get the additional value out of it. So we're going to see him try to swing with the Heliolyth, and this stuff really feels bad play because he does have a Hephaestus in play with 2 spirits. So the idea that I'm going to return the Heliolyth and me not knowing that he has a second Heliolyth in hand, me knowing 2020, right, hindsight 2020 vision, this is pretty bad for me. I'm obviously gonna go for the Tornigen, and we're gonna go with the double enchantment on the Windjin to try to get. I'm thinking right now what was that I set. I remember that I set a resting in the top, so I'm gonna choose resting, and effectively there we go. We do see the resting out of it, and we're gonna get the Tornigen out due to that. We do have an Ambro in hand, so that's gonna allow us to, after the special cast of the Windjin, use the Ambro to heal some of those spirits, because even though this deck does have a lot of healing, we are currently in a big predicament, and he has 2 back row that I am gonna choose not to respect. He has already used quite a bit of Argo, so I'm thinking maybe it's a shield, maybe it's something else. He didn't use Poison Tipped Arrow, so might as well try to hit. But unfortunately, right, we're going to see that I'm going to use an effect. I'm going to try to use the Ambrosia that I'm going to probably add from the hand. From what I recall, I did add the Ambro, I think it was. Let's see, I choose a Gorgon's, a Tsunami, trying to make sure that my opponent struggles a little bit to get rid of my Tornigen. Ultimately, yeah, so we do have the Ambro in hand already. Okay, so we add Argo, Gorgons, and Tsunami to the potential list, and we're gonna hope that that's going to be enough for our opponent to not be able to get rid of our Tornigen, really not respecting the back row, which is probably gonna be my biggest error in this match, because as we already know, he does have an Argo set. We do get the Gorgon's Gaze. I made a mistake there. I did reveal it. I didn't have to reveal it to my opponent. So now he already knows that I have a Gorgon's Gaze instead of any of the other 2. But alas, we did know that it was going to be some sort of intervention. I do play my Ambrosia to recover some of those spirits because, again, I am currently a little bit low on the spirits department. And I am, even though I built this deck, you always want to play it optimally, and in a tournament setting you would probably expect a eruption from this deck. So that's been like a very popular tech in this deck. I'm deciding to try to keep my spirit and management on top, but again I made the huge mistake of swinging into the Volcaries, which just procs the Argo, which is insane, right? At this point, he's gonna go for the Necklace of Harmonia, and that's gonna boost the Volcaries to a 9 attack, which is just 1 attack over my Tornagent. And this is horrible for me, because not only did I lose my board presence, I lost the Tornagent that I built towards, and I kind of like put all my eggs into one basket for, but he has so much field control right now. He has the Volcaries. He can potentially play a Kinleo if he draws into it the next turn, and just not lose any spirits out of that necklace. So, and that necklace is obviously casted basically for free. We do see him draw a Smoltuga, so that probably means that he's gonna go for the Smoltuga. I don't think there's any need to go for the Helidus. I mean, you could for more damage, but I think the safe play is most definitely go for the Smoltuga, maybe add a Volcaries or even a Kinleo, right? We do see that he is in a really good position, and if I want to get rid of one thing, I'm probably not going to get rid of everything. And if I get rid of the Volcaries, I'm not going to get rid of the Hephaestus at this point in the game. So as we see, he's really thinking, contemplating, should he go for more damage or should he set up for the future turn? Ultimately, we're going to see him go for the Smoltuga, like in a bit. He's really thinking about it, like, okay, yeah, but we are definitely going to see him go for the Smoltuga right now, which is going to allow him to add the Kinleo. And at this point, I'm just thinking, okay, this is really bad. I'm sort of expecting the Helidus to hit me really hard, but I do have resting in my hand. He does know that I have resting due to the Windgen combo. So he's also trying to play around that. He doesn't want to lose his Volcaries, but he knows he's probably going to lose it. So might as well just go for the Smoltuga setup for the future turn, where when he loses the Volcaries, he will still have some sort of counter attack to whatever I go for. And he's taking his sweet time because, again, at this point, what is the correct play? But like I've said a couple times now, definitely the best play is to go for the Smoltuga. I'm just like raising my hands like, oh yeah, no, this is pretty bad. He's like, do you not have the Gorgons? And I may, but I'm not going to use it. There's not really good value on using the Gorgons in a Smoltuga. That's basically the Smoltuga doing the Helidus damage. So I'm just like, I'm really down on spirits, and even though I have ways of healing, I haven't really seen them. Like, I've seen the Cathmo, but that's pretty much it. And I'm just gonna take the double damage here. Feels really bad. I'm just saying, okay, what can I draw into? And I do see an Exaltus in my hand. We are gonna play the resting first, so we make sure that we get rid of the Volcaries. We gotta make sure that Volcaries is out of the play, because he's just gonna continue to recover those spirits.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the video so far. I just wanted to give you a quick reminder that if you're enjoying the video, please like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe so you can keep up all the great content that I'm gonna be uploading in this YouTube channel. So let's get back to the video.
And like I said, so I gotta get rid of the Volcaries, and that's what I do with the resting. So then I go for the new Champion of Apollo Exaltus and an Apollo myself with just one enchantment, just so I can foretell and just get the Exaltus to get more attack. We already know that he used the Necklace of Harmonia, so the only thing that can really stop me is a third Argo with Torch of Hestia. So I'm just gonna try to swing, but we do meet the Tsunami, so that's really unfortunate for me. What little momentum I could have gotten from the resting is completely plummeted to the field, to the ground with that Tsunami, which is just going to give my opponent even more avenue to continue controlling the board. We're going to see him go for the Kinleo and just use this effect to try to destroy my Exaltus. You do see I kind of go trigger happy with my Gorgons, but I'm just going to let my opponent know that I'm going to use the Gorgons after he nexuses. We do see him change the position, but yeah, I'm going to go and use the Gorgons after he changes the spirits to the Kinleo. That's what I'm trying to tell my opponent, yeah. And from there on, I'm just like, okay, I bought myself one turn. Let's see if I can do anything about it. We are at 0 spirits, or we were, until we drew into the Ambrosia, which is really clutch. That means that we're somehow still in this game. And I'm gonna go with a really wacky play that normally would be better if I wasn't in 3 spirits down. But yeah, we're going to go with the Exaltus. I'm gonna crash the King Leo. We're gonna take 1 from damage because the King Leo does have 2. And then I'm gonna go for the Exaltus in my hand, which we did have a second Apollo, Champion of Apollo Exaltus. And we're gonna just try to keep some board presence whatsoever, because if the King Leo stayed, I was gonna lose anyway. So that's the only way that I get back this. But I am completely forgetting that he has Heliolith in hand. So this game is practically wrapped, because he's just gonna enchant any other spirit so he can beat over my Exaltus, and that's gonna be game. Alright, so solid game from both parts. Unfortunately, I wasn't really able to get my heal off, but we're gonna get to the closing thoughts. Hey guys, I'm back, and what do you guys think about that match? I think that was a really solid match from both ends. Unfortunately, the Solar wasn't really able to capitalize out of many of the combos that it had, like the Exaltus and even the Tornigen, because it just kept running into all the counter runes that the Volcaries and the Fire Nexus artifacts deck, whatever you want to call it, was able to dish out. It basically felt like it had an answer on every single interaction, and unfortunately I wasn't able to really make good use of it. At the same time, we do see that the Volcaries was huge for the fire deck because it made Argo feel so much less expensive. It was practically an Argo for an artifact on 1. And that went a long way for my opponent to just kept a lot of pressure without really having to commit all that much. Overall, I think that the deck showed how strong it could actually be, but I don't think that Solar was able to shine as much as I think it will. So do make sure to watch the next round, which I'm going to be uploading in the next couple of days, because I do think that Solar has a lot of potential to steamroll every other deck in the mana game. So having said that, I want to see in your comment section, right in the comment section, what do you guys think? Did you like it? Is there anything that you would have done different? Always write it in the comment section. I like to interact with all of you. And ultimately, I just hope that you are here for the ride. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed already, the only way that we're going to get there is with your help. So please, please, please subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, so that will be all from me, Decent Shirt, signing out.